Everybody, I'm Adam Ginsberg, the architect, the founder, the creator of the West Coast Wrestling Company, and you're watching Drinking at Moe's.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Drinkin' at Moe's. Host Big Mo here. Be sure YouTube, like, subscribe, leave comments. Helps people find the show. Leave reviews on the podcast. Today, I have with me the guy behind West Coast Wrestling Company, Adam Ginsberg. How the hell you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, I can't complain. You know, getting back into the swing of things, getting out to some pretty crazy shows. Got a couple coming up in the next couple of months. Pretty excited about.
So you have a connection to that Warrior Wrestling, right?
Yeah,
They're pretty well known out here. They're getting I don't know the Midwest all that well, but they're pretty much one of the predominant companies in the Midwest. Is that correct?
very much so. Yeah.
Because I see their name pop up all the time. And, when you see that, something's cooking. And so, I don't know anything about the guys. I don't know who runs it or where they're based out of. But when you hear the name over and over, and of course, with positivity connected to that name, rather than that dirtbag promotion, which we've all heard many times, right? Yeah, which is very easy to get that reputation, especially out in California. But yeah, you hear that enough times, you start to take notice. Okay, let's watch and see what these guys do.
Oh, yeah. I've been lucky enough to talk with the promoter, Steve, about 3 times now, and even got invited out to their St. Louis show when they went out there. And, man, some of the talent I got to meet out there, including guys from New Japan, Alex Coughlin and Njpw.
Yes.
Two of the, I'll say this right now, 2 of the nicest dudes I've ever met. They were some of the first to come through, and they literally introduced themselves to everybody in the room, shaking everybody's hand. Standout guys. Then guys like Jeff Cobb, Lance Archer, Jonah, oh my God.
That's cool, man. Especially when you have a good experience with a wrestler, how much you look at that wrestler. If you're a fan of theirs, you look at that wrestler with even more appreciation, if you will, because they took that time out. As small as it is, they took that time out to do that. And so, wow, you look at them on a different light. Yeah, I hear you on that. That's cool, man. That's real cool.
Oh yeah, even got to talk a little bit shorter of an episode than what I normally do, but Jonah actually took a little bit of time out with me in between the Fan Fest and going back and getting ready for the show to actually talk a little bit. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, you have a good experience. You can't beat that. That's what this whole thing is about, right? That's why we're fans of wrestling, is because of what it makes you feel. And that's the greatest thing in the world, is when you can feel any emotion whatsoever, good, bad, or indifferent, then you're living,
Oh,
so
definitely.
Right on, man. That's so cool.
Oh yeah. No, man. I've since started a little bit of a wrestling figure collection, and 2 of the people that I got it started off with got signed figures from them, from Lance Archer and Jeff Cobb, from that show.
Wow. That's cool, man. That's really
You're
cool.
coming in a little.
Let me
Let's see here.
Okay. I'm hearing you a little clearer now. Yeah.
I just took the AirPods out, so we're going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and do it without.
That's just fine. But
Okay.
yeah, I started that, and since it's grown to, let's see, Swerve, Keith Lee, and Rich Swann. I met them at Wrestling Revolver in Des Moines.
Okay.
And that was a pretty nice experience, I gotta say. Some crazy matches at that show.
Is there a what's I mean, is it I know out in California it's overloaded with promotions, part in fact due to there's no athletic commission, so literally anybody can set up a ring and have a show, right? How is it in that area? Is I know that like Kentucky had a really strict athletic commission.
Yeah.
Is it as many companies out there, a lot of outlaw mud shows, or how does that work?
You know what? Not really. I mean, we got 2 promotions here in Omaha. We got one that kind of runs in between Omaha and Lincoln. And then there's a couple out towards Des Moines and Kansas City. So there's a handful in a couple of the bigger cities, but outside of that, there's not really a lot of those, outlaw shows,
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. There's too many. There's way too many guys that are running shows that shouldn't run shows.
I would have to agree. I've seen some videos online that's like, dude, are you really legit running out of the backyard right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I could go on for days about what's wrong or what, and believe me, we could go back and forth on this, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, just to be able to do this and do it right, it takes a lot of skill, and it's a whole subject. So let's change that subject and go into something.
We can definitely do that. Something I like to start off with each of my guests with is, what got you started off with wrestling as a fan? Like, who are some of your favorites and the such?
Right. Well, believe it or not, I was 2 years old when I first saw wrestling. My father had it playing in the house, and I remember vividly Big John Studd was on the screen, bloody forehead, Pat Benatar's Hit Me With Your Best Shot was playing in the background on the television show. I think it was WWF, of course, but it was Championship Wrestling, the show they used to do in Allentown. But of course, growing up, I was born in '82. Growing up, I was right there with the Hulk Hogan, era, and so he was the man. Big Sting fan, Rick Rude, the guys that really brought authenticity. And you could say, how could you compare Hogan with authenticity? But there's nobody that's been like him. He was real to me because he really was out there doing that role model superhero stuff.
Yeah.
As biggest Bret Hart fan there is, Mick Foley. I watched a lot of WCW. Preferred that more than WWF in the early '90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd have to say it's like Rick Rude, Bret Hart, Mick Foley. Of course, my hero is Steve Austin, right?
Nope. Yeah, my personal favorite all time, right there.
He changed my life in a positive way when I was 15. And I was getting bullied all the time in school, and man, when he started doing his thing, I kind of adapted that. What are the language parameters on here?
I'm not getting monetized yet, so we're whatever.
I'll keep it clean just in case. He didn't take any crap, right? So I kind of, it changed my life, and it gave me that sounds corny as hell, right? But it gave me that courage, if you will, that just gave me that self-belief, that don't take crap from anybody. And so you asked me what time it is. I'm telling you how to build a watch. Hands down, Steve Austin, my number one favorite.
I would have to say I'm in the same boat with you there. It took me a little bit longer to adopt that sort of attitude, but once I started doing it, it was very much along those lines of, I got those people out there that like me. I got my circle. Outside of that, if you like me, good. If not, whatever.
Yeah, Exactly.
But him and another that I like, and this, goes towards my affinity for tag team wrestling.
Yes.
That I love the intensity that these guys brought. And, you always hear about hard hitting these guys were. The Road Warriors, Legion of Doom. Oh man, that I remember I got to see them live here in Omaha once for a Raw taping. And man, I don't think I've ever, actually, I got to see Stone Cold there too. But when the Road Warriors came out, I don't think from the moment their music hit when that hit, I was on my feet jumping up and down until they went back through the curtain. I don't think I've ever had anybody else do that to me.
Yep. It's that feeling, that it seems like only wrestling, music and wrestling, for me at least, makes possible that feeling to happen. But yeah, I hear you, the Road Warriors, man. Who could beat them? They were just unstoppable.
Oh yeah. And like I said, the intensity that they brought, that also turns into how I gravitate towards, a lot of the current crop out there. Guys that bring that intensity, like Jonah, like Jeff Cobb, like, even Lance Archer. You go, one of my personal favorites right now, Tomohiro Ishii.
Yes.
I love that guy, especially when he has a title belt with him. The look on his face when he's coming to the ring and he has that title belt on him, he just looks like he's saying, without saying anything, that you'd have to damn near kill him to take it from him. I love it.
It's his body language, his eyes. Why do they call him the Stone Pitbull, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has it without saying it. You just nailed it. Without saying it, he has that. Don't start crap with that guy because you aren't going to end up faring very well.
The other guy that is right there along with him in the very same, a little bit different of the build, but same mentality, Minoru Suzuki.
Sure.
Same
Absolutely.
mentality. Like, he definitely, even without a title belt with Minoru Suzuki, he just looks like, he's coming to kill you.
He always punks out the ring announcer too, right? I think he's ring announcer. And poor guy, man. I don't think he gets paid enough for hazard pay, but god dang, man, that's great watching that. He gives zero F's about anybody, and he just goes in there and assaults people. That's just great. That is
great. Yeah. I just love it. Next, kind of going off of that first question, but a different part. What got you started in wanting to open West Coast Wrestling Company?
This isn't a very short answer. I'll do my best to give you the Cliff Notes version. I turned pro in 2002, and it was about 2008. Devin Sparks and I don't know if you're familiar with Devin.
I am.
We were working for Andy at New Wave, and things didn't go well there. I'm not going to get into it. It doesn't matter. It's all the past.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Devin and I ended up creating West Coast Wrestling Company off of, hey, wish you guys luck. We're going to move on to our own thing. So it was the fact that I knew how to do this just because I've had previous experiences helping run shows. And I felt like through my eyes, through my vision, I could present a product different than everybody else, right? So for me, it's like the Eric Bischoff has said, you could be, less than, greater than, or equal than your competition. Well, to me, it's like, I don't want to do something half-assed. And anybody that knows me knows the day of the show, I don't screw off, it's all all in for me. So it was just the fact that we weren't happy where we were, and creatively we both said we could do this, and we did it. And so it was just the fact that we knew that we could present a product that was different. Not going to say better, not going to,
Yeah.
it's not about that, because at the end of the day, like, everybody has their taste, right? And
Yeah.
I can't say, hey, Mo, you're wrong for believing that or thinking that. It's your opinion, it's what you feel. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we set out to do. And it was just, it was wrestling through my eyes, how I would present professional wrestling.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring up a good point. And with a lot of professional wrestling, people bring up, with the recent PWI 500 and everything, a lot of these lists and stuff that people come up with, it's all subjective. People talk about their Mount Rushmores of this or that. All that's subjective. You might have people that agree with each other, but then even sometimes the people that agree with each other, there'll be different parts of it that they see a little bit differently.
Sure. You go on Twitter sometimes and you see, you pro AEW, anti WWE. It's like, Jesus, nobody's, who cares? Like what you like and just shut up, right? Like, who, you're right to your opinion, but your opinion is just that. And I think a lot of people think that means more. So for me, it's like, hey, enjoy wrestling, because it's badass when it's done correctly. And enjoy being a fan. You and I can sit there and play Monday morning quarterback all day long watching shows, but god dang, you're missing the actual content at the time and just getting sucked into it. And that's honestly where I feel.
I'm with you.
So, that's how we started West Coast, and it was one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
And that's awesome. I've seen a bunch of videos from shows, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. And you brought up another good point there, that when it comes to people being like, oh, they're staunch WWE supporters or AEW, Impact, whatever, it's like there is literally so many choices out there as far as wrestling goes, with all the Impact Plus, New Japan World, Peacock having the WWE network. There is literally so much out there that if you just sit back and let yourself enjoy it, you can find something that you're going to enjoy.
And if you can't on current stuff, you always got YouTube. You could find anything out there, so
absolutely.
That's it. Yeah, there's no need to complain. Life is already hard enough. Don't make it harder for yourself by putting that negativity out there.
Oh, totally. Another positive thing to talk about here. Who are some of your favorites that you've had come through West Coast?
Well, we've only had a select few of, I guess, fly-ins. Would you say? We've only had a few guys. We've had Eddie Edwards. We've had Davey Richards. We actually had Goldberg in 2010 we did a show for the Marines up at Camp Pendleton. And Goldberg I live in Temecula. He used to have a Muay Thai studio in Oceanside, which is about 30 minutes from my house. We found out that he co-owned this gym. And so a guy that worked for the West Coast Wrestling Company, Jamison Stafford, who is he is a current Marine rather, wanted to do a show on base. And so we figured, hey, if we can get Goldberg out there, how cool would that be? And so it just, because just Goldberg in 2010 in wrestling, it just didn't, those two things didn't go together. He was so jaded by his time in his first WWE run and all the BS that he had to endure there, that his business partner said, hey, we're going to handle this with kid gloves, because there's a chance he's going to say no. But when we presented the idea to him and, told him it was for the military, he was all for it. And so it was really cool. Like you would expect maybe he'd come in with an entourage, or he would come in with an attitude or anything. He's the nicest person you ever met in your life. And he came with his wife and son and sat in the crowd and watched the show, came back and talked to the boys. It was really cool. We've had, we're trying to think of who else. The list isn't very long, but both Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, we had them in individually, and both were just a pleasure to work with.
That's awesome.
they, whatever I had in mind, they wanted to not only do, but it was like, how can we make it even better, And when you have talent to work with like that, it makes my job as an executive producer it makes it just so much easier. Because you're like, oh, we don't have to worry about egos. We had the Bucks on a show in 2000, and it was December 2008. It was really early. Third show, I think it was. They were great. This was, of course, before I think they even went to TNA, right? So they were good. Had Joey Ryan on before. He was former West Coast champion. So I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but those are the names that we've had on the show. You got me off.
I've done that a couple times with a couple guests. I bring up and
when I have to think, everything goes out the window. No, we're good. I'm just kidding.
I actually had it happen with Terex where I brought up a name for like, give me his thoughts on the person, because I had a list of people he shared the ring with, and he was like, oh damn, I almost forgot about that one.
You said Terex?
Yeah,
he's a good friend of mine. I like him. He's a hell. I call him an attraction.
Yeah.
When I book shows, I don't book him all the time because it'll lose its luster. So you book him here and there, and when he comes in, he's dominant. So he's a good guy, man. Really good guy. He takes a lot of punishment too.
Oh yeah, I remember first time I saw him when I was stationed down there in San Diego. It was for New Wave, actually.
Yep.
And I just remember that was the promotion that was my first ever independent wrestling show.
Right on.
And he came in, and I'm seeing like those that have seen his matches, and I mean, big dude. And I'm seeing this guy pull off a standing moonsault, and I'm like, I just remember my job basically going on the floor like, holy crap.
Yeah, he defies he defies physics and all that there is to it, man. He's just he's incredible. The thing is, you don't expect somebody like that to leave their feet. And when they do, it's like, oh my God. And he's always been the guy where if you don't know as a fan, you're looking at him going, oh, what's this guy going to do? An avalanche and a big splash? No, watch the moonsault. He changes people's minds about wrestling in a positive way. And I always love watching his matches because you always have those few people in the crowd that have never seen him before. And just like you said, Mo, your jaw drop, you see the same thing in the crowd, and it is priceless.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember I took a friend to a New Wave show, and I believe it was another one that he was on, and I'm like, dude, watch that guy. Like, you aren't going to think what I know, but watch him. And then the same thing happened with him. He was like, holy crap.
I love it. That's great. That's great.
One show that happened not that long ago for West Coast that I wanted to talk a little bit about, because I've actually talked with one of the participants in the match.
Uh-oh.
That 30-minute Ironman match between Gatson and Ellis. I actually talked with Ellis for the show. This was back before I took my little break. And I believe it might have been right before that show.
What do you want to know?
Oh, what are some of your thoughts from that show? Like how everything went down? Like you have a vision of how you wanted it to go down, and did it come close at least to how you envisioned it?
I'll tell you straight up. This is no BS. Every time I've had a show, which I've had over 50 shows, not bragging, just telling you, each one the night before or the day of before it happens, I will see it play through in my head. And every time it comes out exactly that way. I swear to God, I could go somewhere and expect it's going to look a certain way or whatever. But I have the matches down, how they're going to go, literally like to a T. May was the only downside to that was 94 degrees, and Gats and Ellis were out there for a legit. It was over 30 minutes because you got entrances, you got outros, you got you've got all that. So, and you'll probably think there's a fan there keeping time just to screw with us, so we want to make sure it's all legit. It was hot as hell. It was miserable, but those two guys definitely deserved the title of Iron Men for doing what they did. May was a good show. I had planned further shows. It just wasn't the right timing.
Yeah,
just the right timing. It's a lot of. I don't know if that's where you were headed with this thing.
No,
but, yeah, it was because I had up until September, May, June, July, August, and September all booked, and with gas prices going up because we're the highest. I just drove by the gas station. It's over $7 for for the low 87. For the what's it called, the unleaded, right? Regular unleaded.
Yeah.
I have to rent a U-Haul to take my ring to the venue. The expensive gas for that thing. Wrestlers are asking for more because a lot of them don't live near here, so it's LA or state. So it's like you add that cost in, and it was just like one of those things where there's a lot more to it, but it was kind of one of those things where it's like, and I'll be honest with you, and you could ask anybody about this, ask Rick Ellis, ask anybody. I turn into a different person the day of the show. Because I want to make sure that the fans get the best that they can get. And that's on me and it's on the talent. So it's just a matter of let's execute the best possible scenario here. But yeah, May was a lot of fun. And it was just, one of those things where I had to take a step back and look at it and go, okay, this is maybe not the right time to be doing this. And, be honest with you, a lot of the talent, and this is something I don't know a lot of people will share, but a lot of talent are entitled and think that they don't have to do anything for the show. I would ask guys to do a promo for the show, promoting themselves. You would think that I'm asking them for a kidney. And, you look at it and you're just like, okay, as a business, you have to promote, you have to get awareness. If guys that are working for you act like they're in the witness protection program, then what the hell are you doing? And that's what a lot of guys do. And like, I just get annoyed when it's, hey, I need you to do something here, because no one's going to give a crap about the show if there's nothing to see. And as a talent, you should automatically go, hey, if I'm not in WWE, I need to be working all the time. How can I help? How can I do my part? And these guys, man, it's just sad in a lot of ways. So, you look at it, you're just like, oh, God dang it. It's just too much work to ask these guys to do something that you shouldn't have to ask them. So it's a culmination of everything.
Oh, no, I can imagine, because, when you're wanting to get on those national TV stages, they're looking for all the areas, promos, in-ring work. And, the only way you can get better is by the more times that you do it.
Yes,
so
sir.
If you're getting asked to do a promo for whatever show you're going to be on, it's, in my thoughts, just the smart move to go about and go ahead and do it, because you're getting in those reps for whenever you might get the opportunity to have them look at you.
Exactly. Yeah, you said it better than I could have. It's if your goal is to get to the televised wrestling companies, they're looking. They're going to be looking at your Twitter, at your whatever, to see, okay, this guy's a great talent, right? He can work, but what is he doing to promote himself? What is he? You got to have everything, And I see that it's not just my show. It's a lot of people, a lot of other people's shows out here. The talent just and honestly, SoCal wrestling is not the greatest, territory in the world. It's a place where I think it could be a hell of a lot better. NorCal has always been great. NorCal has a great crew up there, great companies, great talent. Down here, it's a mess, and there's way too many people running shows, and you see a lot of same guys on the same shows. So as a fan, I'm like, why the hell would I go see this show? It's like the same matches over and over again. So you look at that and you're just like, I love this business more than anything in this world, and I want to be involved in it. And it's just it takes a lot mentally out of me and physically to do these shows, And my son who's 15, he said, Dad, you got to find a different way to do this, and it put me in check, going like, I'm the type of person that I give you the shirt off my back. I'll give you everything I have, but at what expense? To the expense where I'm burned out for a week. Nah.
Yeah.
So I got to take time off to focus on me and my family. And when the time is right, and I know for certain this isn't the end, we'll be back. And it's, for me, I don't have anything to prove. My resume and everything is online. My quality of work. You watch the West Coast shows, you see that, it's not some rundown outlaw show. It's a lot of thought and effort put into it. And so, when I do something, I like to hit a home run. And that's
I got you. You
got me all worked up now, Mo. Thanks a lot. Just kidding, man.
But no, that is often what I'm not getting people worked up, but what I've wanted to do is, in my own way, be at least somewhat involved in the business. And I know that with this show, I wanted to kind of, in a way, give back, because pro wrestling has helped me through quite a bit, especially even recently with some of the things that have happened that, I've talked with one of the commentators for GCW, Kevin Gill, like during a show that I was like, it was shortly after my wife and I lost our two girls. I was like, this is my escape. I needed an escape from all the stuff that's been going on, and this show is it for me tonight. And gave me a shout on the air, which I'll never forget. But it's helped me through stuff like that I'm like, I want to give back. And you know what, if I end up in the process getting like I've seen Denise Salcedo do on some shows, where she'll jump in on ring announce a match or two, or jump in on commentary for a match or two. If I end up getting something like that somewhere along the road, after just wanting to give back to the business that's given me so much, then awesome.
That's how I feel, buddy. It is always, like I said, since 2 years old, with bullying and all the stuff that I've gone through, you need that outlet, you need that escape. I was never really into comic books or cartoons or superheroes. For me, it was always wrestling. Always. That's one thing that never, ever was a fad to me. Never got out of it, ever. It was just, I was all I was going to do. And I kind of regret that now, because going through high school and having career day, or what you're going to do when you grow up, man, it was all wrestling for me. And where I should have had a plan B, I didn't. But at the same time, as to your point, it has given so much to me: confidence, belief, all this stuff that you want to, if you talk to the average layman, they wrestling, but only real fans of the sport can appreciate what it has given us. And so I understand totally, man. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, you're welcome. One thing speaking of towards the future that I wanted to get into is, what are some of your hopes for the future of West Coast Wrestling Company when you do get back into, get back in the swing of things?
For me, this has always been about developing talent. I feel like I have a very strong ability to spot talent and develop talent. And that's what I like to do. Like I have shows where there's a lot of guys on the show that maybe you've never heard of before, but I've seen those guys work, and I am the type of person, and by no means does this mean to come out egotistical or in over my head, but I like presenting people differently than they're presented elsewhere. So if they wrestle down in San Diego for a place as a heel, I might bring them here as a baby face, for no other reason than I see them as that, and they're not playing that. So I like to do that, and so for me, it's the future of the business. It's developing and cultivating talent and putting on shows where you haven't heard of these guys, but you will know their name after the show's over.
And that's a good way to look at it. You bring in some people that some might not be so familiar with, but you want them to leave that show like, that guy drew my attention. I want to keep my eye on him.
Yeah, and we were doing that last year. We had a guy named Manny Mars, a Filipino kid who has this intangible. He has it. I can't tell you what it is. I can't describe it. It's just something. And his entrance is just, he's so, man, he's just with it. And he's a heel, and he can make you hate him. And he's arrogant, not as a shoot, but working. And it's like, gosh, this guy's money. He just needs that. He needs that time under his belt. He needs more matches, needs that experience. Another guy, Romeo Cruz, he works for the EWF. Jesse Hernandez, he's out right now with an injury. He's a guy that, I brought in. He's a young Latin baby face. And boy, my thing is having representation for minorities and having representation, because if there's a kid in the crowd that sees Manny Mars and goes, he looks just like me, I can do this, and that's cool. For me, maybe I'm looking at this business all wrong sometimes about, we just need to make money and we need to, and that's never been like that for me. For me, it's all about the experience, and hopefully we could turn on a fan, and hopefully we can make fans and create that to where that's what means something to me. It's the human connection. And that's what I believe in.
Oh no, definitely a good hope for the future there. And, getting to have those people come in that, maybe weren't a fan before, but they come and see one of your shows and they connect with whoever it might be.
Let me tell you, I did a show in 2012 at the Hells Angels in Lake Elsinore, their club. It was, they were doing a Christmas, it was like the Toys for Tots type of thing.
Yeah, that sort of, yeah.
And so they wanted wrestling there. I'll tell you what, buddy, there's a circle of about 300 of these bikers all around my ring. And I told my guys, I said, when you go out there, do not make anything look phony. Because these guys are going to smell it. I'll tell you what, first match went on, they're clapping, they're into it. I was like, this is either going to go well or it's going to go horribly wrong for everybody. So thank God, man, we had some good talent that day. But it was like one of those experiences where you're like, I guess if you can work in front of these folks, you can work in front of anybody.
I would definitely say so.
So about turning a non-fan into a fan, you're right. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, totally. Lastly, I got two categories I like to have with my guests. One's a bit of a name game where I go over some people that, when doing my homework, have either been in the ring with the guests or, with you, they're listed on having been on the show. You give me your thoughts on them.
Okay.
First off, Hunter Freeman.
Incredible. He's got it. He's got it.
Yeah.
Love him. I love him.
Yep. I've got to talk to him for a little bit, and seeing some of the places he's been popping up there whenever GCW comes to California, and they got that LA Fights thing going on, and I hear he's going to be in a death match tournament here soon.
Yes, that's Santino Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a nice guy. He's got, you know what? He's the type of wrestler where he does a promo and he does it for his family. He does it because when you win a match, you get paid more, and that's why he's doing this. That's definitely. He's the blue collar, red, white, and blue American babyface.
Definitely love him. Next off, Rick Ellis.
I hate that son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. He's somebody I saw his first match in 2007 at New Wave, and I knew right then and there that's the future. And we've had a friendship that's been 15 years now. There's nothing I want to do for that guy. Nothing I want to do. We're kind of tied at the hip, him and I, as far as certain points of our careers.
Definitely cool. Next and last but not least, a guy that you honored there at that same, I believe it was the Iron Man show, SoCal Crazy.
Yes, like none other. I just said it, like none other. SoCal Crazy, I've known for 15 years as well. Just this is going to be far out there, but maybe this comparison is fair. You hear how the Undertaker is the locker room leader and the be all end all. That's SoCal Crazy. That's what he means to this business out here. There's not one person I've ever heard that has said anything remotely negative ever about him. You'd be hard pressed to find anybody that doesn't have but great things to say about him. He's a warrior. He's a fighter. He prevailed. At the end of the day, it's all about when you look at your career and you look at this all in hindsight, you look at the people that stand out and helped you, and he's right there, man. He's just we've never had Christmas dinner together or anything, but we're good friends, and I'm going to help him out on his show on November 12th, and just nothing I want to do for the guy. He's just great, just a great human being.
Oh yeah, he's been like a brother to me, and I'm actually donating my show's Facebook page so he can do the show over Facebook Live. So we're gonna get that set up here. In the meantime,
I set up all the live streaming for you guys to do that. So he wanted to do that, and I said, I made a call, and we're gonna put it on. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. It's really going to be something that I hope, if you're in the California or Southern California area, you just come out and support, it's colon cancer awareness. It's going to be great talent. It's going to be a really good show, family friendly. You can't beat it. And it's for a great human being.
Oh yes, definitely. Could not have said it better. Last category, a bit of a randomizer round. I asked some questions. Some might be wrestling related. Some might not be. You answer how you see fit.
Sure.
First one, craziest in-show moment.
You want me to tell the truth? Rick
Sure.
Ellis. So Rick, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is Rick Ellis. It involves him. We had a show there was a guy where we had our first venue as Arena Sports. It was indoor, outdoor, like a airplane hangar type of thing. There was a guy that came in and wanted to do a rap battle, right? He wanted to use the wrestling ring to do it. So he said he was going to have a ton of people come. So I said, hey, it would be a great idea. We were going to have a show the following weekend. To promote our show, let's have one match at this rap battle. So we did a 6-man tag. It was Rick Ellis, Jameson Stafford, and Devin Sparks against can't even remember. I'm terrible right now. Okay, it was against 3 other baby faces. Anyway, Rick Ellis does his patented dive over the ropes And he always overshoots it. If you've ever seen any Rick Ellis flips over the ropes, he doesn't have precise accuracy rather. He always goes far beyond. Well, on this night, he ended up going into the crowd. This little girl was sitting on her father's lap, and she had a tube. It was not a feeding tube, but some type of tube that was attached to her stomach. He dived, knocked the thing out.
Oh no!
And dude, the dad was he was a big old dude, just oh my god, like Bobby Lashley big. And I thought, everything puckered up. I was in fear of my life, and I'm panicking. Oh my god. Needless to say, that little girl a week later got the biggest care package that I think she could ever get in her life. She wasn't hurt. Nobody was hurt. It was he brushed it, and whatever the thing.
Just...
Thank God that it wasn't a serious matter. And I'm not laughing because it's. You can look at it now and go, it's funny, but at the time, you're like scrambling, going, "Oh my God, this is the worst case scenario that could happen." So as far as scary, that takes the cake by far.
Oh, it would be hard to top that.
And I don't think we have any footage of it. Thank God for that. I've never seen it, but yeah, it was one of those moments where you just, you're on the wrong side of the tracks.
Oh yeah. Next one, non-wrestling related. What is your favorite drink, whether alcoholic or non?
Kind of gotten addicted to Sprite. I have Sprite at lunch every day. I don't drink alcohol. So yeah, for me it's Sprite, and I always stay hydrated. Like I've got water, coffee, and body armor. So I try to drink a gallon of water every day. In the last year and a half, I lost 90 pounds. So it's just, water, flush all that stuff out and stay hydrated. So water, Sprite, that's about as exciting as it gets.
I'm a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend myself, but last but not least, what is some of your best advice for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Don't. Best advice is be sure you know what you want, because there are levels to this business and not everybody gets to the top. So the business is sided more towards the smaller guys now. It's not so much a big man's business like it was in the 80s or even 90s for that matter. You have to be trained the right way, and without throwing shade at anybody out here training folks, there's not a lot of guys coming up that are being trained correctly. So it's learning. You got to have a love for this thing, and you can't just kind of like it. You've got to be immersed into, this is what I want. I want a main event WrestleMania. I want to be world champion. I really don't even bother, because you're just kind of another guy in the fold. So it's like you when I had my school, we ran through 24 kids. I ended up having 24 through the course of 2 years that bailed because they take their first bump, and it's like, oh my God, I thought the ring was softer. And so Mo, you got to be a special person to like this business. You got to be even more deranged to be in there taking bumps, and getting crap paydays, driving very far. It's just like, who the hell does that, right?
Yeah.
But you just got to want it. And I know that sounds really easy, but it's really hard, because you find out very fast who is in this for the long haul.
Yeah. Nope, you definitely bring up a good advice there, and a point you brought up, wanting to be that top dog. It reminds me of, I believe it was a conversation between DDP and Dusty Rhodes, where he was thinking that he didn't think he was ever going to be world champion. It's like Dusty Rhodes basically told him to shut up, because if you don't want to be that, then what the hell are you doing?
Right. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, I heard that same story. And that's the truth. It's like so many guys are just fine bait being weakened warriors. And that's great. More power to you. But there's too many of those folks. You don't see a lot of guys making it out here, you know, you got AEW has a lot of SoCal guys, right? But
Mhm.
it's not, this area should be greater. We should be producing bigger results, in my opinion. There should be better, everybody should be wanting to go somewhere higher.
Yeah.
And I don't see a lot of people that have that desire and passion. And that's the truth of the matter. So, you know, I mean, I want to light a fire under everybody's ass, but it's very tough because, you know, not everybody wants this.
Yeah, no, sometimes that's what people need. They need a fire lit under their ass.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is about all I have. I want to, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And,
Thank
you know, where can people find you? You know, get an eye on West Coast Wrestling Company when you guys do get back in the swing of things.
Well, we have a lot of stuff on YouTube. And that's pretty much, you know, any social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the West Coast Wrestling Company. I'm never very big on having letters, WCWC. I don't want that. When you say it, I want the West Coast Wrestling Company, because to me, that's a statement. So for anything on the West Coast Wrestling Company, yeah, social media, there's tons of content up there. I need to be putting out more, and that's something that I'm looking at doing. I'm not really ever happy with the way the footage comes out. I want better footage. But we've got also, it's going to be launching, I think, this month in October. Steel Cage Radio has doing a SoCal Wrestling Roku channel. And Degenerate John, who runs it, is putting the West Coast Wrestling Company on there. Santino Brothers is on there. SoCal Pros on there. EWF. So I don't have the exact date to tell everybody, but we are going to have all of our stuff on there. And yeah, look forward to that. But yeah, I mean, we're just we're going to be back. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Oh yeah, no, I have no doubt, and you know, hopefully, when that does come, I wish you all the best and, you know, all the success in the world.
Thank you, sir.
But like I said, thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and this has been the episode.
Thank you.